Hi guys. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're watching me from. Yeah. So this is me, Miriam and Mimi for short. So on today's episode of Mimi series, I want to be sharing my experience in Nigeria before I relocated to the United States. I named the page Mimi series because whatever I'm going to be saying on this page is basically myself. Yeah. I actually opened this page because I would like to educate people on some things. Yes, maybe something I've gone through and they are still going through it and didn't know how to figure things out. So maybe from my own story, you're going to learn. And people experiences differs. You understand? So you can as well share your own experience if you've been through the same thing. Yeah, you can share your experience. So I'm going to be talking about how things worked out, and I got my children's papers for them to move with me. First of all, I gave birth to my child about 2 years ago. Yeah, in 2022, my first child. And by then, I had already filed for my own papers. My husband had already filed for me, and I was still waiting for my own date. Boom, my daughter got her own date. So it happened that we went for her interview at the U.S. Embassy in Lagos. Yeah. So we got there, and I was pregnant. I was actually pregnant for my second child then. So, but the pregnancy was still small. So we went there, and so before we got there, my husband had to, there are so many forms, a lot of paperwork to be done. So my husband had to do those paperwork, send them to Nigeria. And one of those paperwork is that he's going to sign. There's a form he's going to fill. Now delegating me, because I'm not a US citizen, to take his child to the embassy for an interview to know if she's qualified to be given an American visa. So I went the first time, that was in March, and it happened that they said the date, there's a notary my husband did. So they said the date on the notary has exceeded the number of days. So according to them, the notary was supposed to stay for 30 days, and that day was the 31 days. So they sent us back. You can imagine. You can imagine I live in Enugu then. So traveling to Enugu, and I was pregnant, and my pregnancy was still small. I was facing all those first trimester wahala. So I optioned to go with my mom. So when I went there and it didn't work out, we had to come back. You can imagine the stress. Then by the time we could go the second time, because we had to wait for my husband to sign and still send those documents back to Nigeria again. So the process of waiting for him, the pregnancy was already growing. And that was when I had my worst travel experience. If I want to board this flight, what I will hear is, go and bring your fit to fly. I was just hearing fit to fly, fit to fly. So after that first travel, I had to pay at the aviation clinic for them to check, and give me the fit to fly. After then, it didn't still work out. I don't know what they said was okay. They said they were requesting for my husband tax. So they requested for tax, 5 years tax, because according to their law, the child must be born before you become a citizen. And you must have been a citizen for 5 years. You understand? Before your child will be qualified for an American passport. So, and their means of determining that is, first of all, your tax, your school, whatever. They mentioned a whole lot of things. And the easiest for us to get then was my husband's tax. We got the tax. 5 years, prior to the birth of my child. They said the one of the years we got is not tax. That is something. That was how we were sent back. And remember that because I don't stay in Lagos, we lodge. We lodge in Lagos embassy. Lagos hotel. After the whole thing, with my mom is working, and she will have to take permission off work and join me. After everything, it didn't work out. And I'm like, God. Because I keep on thinking, but if I want to travel, they will say fit to fly. And that fit to fly, I went to the hospital where I give birth. I told them that I needed a fit to fly, and they were like, that they don't give fit to fly, that they will always want the aviation clinic to ascertain you according to their own requirement, so that when something happens, they will not be like that they are the ones that gave you. That was how I started getting fit to fly. And each fit to fly I'm getting, I'm spending 5,000 something. And what would they do? They'll just check my BP. Most times I laugh. They'll just check my BP, then ask me some questions like, do you do this, do you do that, and the rest of it. Then they'll give you the fee to fly for you to go on board. And I think it lasts for just 1 week. So if there's anything that will make us to stay more than 1 week in Lagos, on coming back, I'm going to get another fee to fly, and that's another 5,000 something. And you know, in Nigeria, it's not funny. So at some point, we now had to sit down and gather all the documents. Then we went back praying. So that fateful day, God sent one woman like that, and she checked everything, and it was okay. She then said, congratulations, your child's passport will be ready in 3 weeks. Kiniko, kiniko. Man, I was so happy. Yes, I was so happy. And that was how we got my daughter's passport. So basically, if your husband is an American citizen and you have a child here, you don't have to worry. But you know, the earlier you do it, the earlier the better. Yes, the earlier you do it, the earlier the better. Because I heard that once they give the child the passport, and the child will need to travel before the child is 18 years. So, and I think the earlier you do it, the earlier the earlier the better in the sense is that if you do it early, I think that was when, because at some point they asked me so many questions. They were like, tell us about your pregnancy. You understand? You know, when I'm saying my daughter's interview, nothing concern my child though, it's me. Because in the requirements, they asked me to get my antenatal record, to get my scan result, to get the pictures of when I was pregnant, to get my picture with my husband, to get our marriage certificate to show that we are legally married. And the picture with my husband is to show that we've been together, you understand, for some time. And I should get our trips, if we've been to trips and the rest of it. Then they said I should provide evidence showing that my husband was the one responsible for the pregnancy. So in that part, you have to provide the flight ticket, like when he was coming back, the flight ticket, and when he went back, to show that he was around during the period of that pregnancy. And those are the forms you will get. And they will tell you in their form that if they are not satisfied, they will conduct a DNA. Yes. But if they are satisfied, your child will have his or her passport. They don't really have a problem in that. But you know, there's a fee for the passport. Yeah. I think when I did for my first child, we paid 80 something thousand. But when it was my second child's own, we paid 100 and something thousand. Yeah, that was what we paid. And during my second child, it was no longer difficult. It was not, because when I went to the embassy, when they gave him a date, we went to the embassy and they were like, have you gone through this process before? I said, yes, ma. He said, for your child? I said, yes. And she was like, I should get my child's passport and her birth certificate. Because when they give you a passport, they'll give you a birth certificate. That is what they say. But it's like they started in newly. Because they didn't give my first child certificate, birth certificate, that is American birth certificate. But they gave my second child. But they gave the both of them American passport. So I told the woman that they didn't give me a birth certificate for the first child, but they gave me American passport. And she said I should give a copy of it. And man, I was so lucky. Because when I was going, I was like, I don't want to carry this passport too. And you know, Nigeria, you know, our safety now is top notch. So I said, I don't want to carry the passport and be moving around. Let me just make a photo. And I made a photocopy of that particular passport. And when they saw it, they attached it to my son's files. So his own didn't even waste time. When it was my turn, I was called to first of all go and pay. I went and paid. Then the second time was the interview. So when I got there, No question. They just say, hi, baby boy, how are you? And the rest of it, which you come. And that was how they told me, they gave me the paper that my child's passport has been approved. And you know, there is something common about this US embassy. Once you go for an interview and they give you a white paper, you assume that you are qualified for whatever you went there for. If you went for a visa, your visa is approved. If you went for passport, is approved. But once they start changing colors, once they start changing color, because me, I've been to the embassy before and my visa was denied, yes, but it's not on marriage basis. Yeah, it was not on marriage basis. But I don't want to talk about it. I think that would be a video for another day. You understand? I have a whole lot of experience. At some point, I was like, man, this is not easy. So that was how I managed to get my children's passport. And remember, before their birth, the two of them, before their birth, I had already applied for my own. And at the time I was getting their own, man, I didn't hear any news about mine. So that is to tell you how American embassy, or should I say Americans, value children. So guys, share with me in the comment section, have you been through this process? What are your experiences? How did you feel? Was it successful or was it not successful? But I know it's gonna be successful. Once you provide all the documents that was required, it's gonna be successful. So please guys, share my post, comment, like, follow. Follow, because I have so many things in stock for you. I have so many things piled up, but you know, motherhood will not let me, because sometimes you want to make a video and one of your child will just start screaming. So guys, thank you for engaging in my video and hope to see you in the next one. I'm signing out. Love you guys. Bye.